Hello, my name is Jimmy, and this is the 2023 Honda HR-V. What once was a little SUV based on the Honda Fit, now it's grown. It's absolutely huge, and it's no longer based on the Honda Fit, but it's based, well, on the Honda Civic. So it's grown larger, and, well, it's definitely a little bit different than it used to be. But in this video, let me tell you everything that you need to know about it, well, starting with the looks. First off, let me know what your thoughts are on the HR-V in the comment section down below. Personally, I think Honda's taking a page from Volkswagen. I mean, all their vehicles are starting to look very similar to how Volkswagen does it, or Audi. Is that a bad thing? Well, once again, you let me know in the comment section down below. Up front on this is the top trim, so the EXL with the nav here in Canada, which means I got LED headlamps. I mean, it's a decent looking front end, and it does have this kind of blacked out grille. But that's really it. There's nothing too crazy or extravagant about it. It's very similar to the current gen Honda Civic. Moving on to the side here, while other SUVs are going with like 20-inch wheels, I got little 17-inch wheels here on the HR-V. And I mean, it's fine. It's a little different, but they definitely do look a little bit small. You do get proximity door locks on the front doors, but not on the rear doors. Also, gone is the door handle, which is like right up here on the pillar. They just have traditional door handles now. I mean, it's a little different, it's fine. Out back, we do have a little roof spoiler on top, LED tail lamps, and that's really it. Blacked out cladding on the bottom to make it look a little bit more sporty. The overall looks, to me, is definitely a little bland. The old HR-V had a little bit more pizzazz to it. This, I mean, it's fine, it fits in, but it doesn't stand out. But it's a little SUV, it's not designed to stand out. What does stand out though, it's just how much it can hold. Because in here you get 24.4 cubic feet of space, which is actually quite large for this class. However, Honda definitely could have done more. And what I mean by that is just underneath this cargo floor. I mean, as it is, perfectly fine. However, if you lift this, you get this cargo divider, which, I mean, if you take out, you can see that it's just a compact spare and there's quite a bit of room. Unlike a lot of Hyundai and other Kia products, well, you can fold the cargo level kind of down to increase that cargo space. In here, you can't. This is just a flimsy cardboard cover. You need this to hold it as a base. I mean, I get it. With that in place, you can fold down the rear seats. Then you can have a completely flat cargo floor. But most of the time, you're not, having that seat folded. You rather just would have more space. Unfortunately, Honda they just didn't provide that as an option. But let's check out those rear seats. All right, the rear seats. First of all, pretty comfortable. I'm 5'11" and I have enough headroom, and legroom is also really, really good. So in terms of space, absolutely fine. But there really isn't too much back here in terms of amenities. Like, I have power windows, that's a given. But I don't have heated seats, I don't have charge ports, I don't have ventilation. I don't even have an armrest in the center. There's not a lot of options back here. I mean, it's comfortable, but I don't even have a pocket behind the driver's side to put a magazine or whatever. Just a little bare back here. However, it is a good space for kids. As you can see on the driver's side here, I have a collect lane, an infant seat, and there's absolutely no problems. The doors, they don't open a full 90 degrees like the Honda CR-V does, but it's still fine to put the carrier inside. On the passenger side, here's a collect FUMF, a rear-facing child seat, and once again, absolutely no problems. Within the vehicle, there's two sets of lower anchors, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. They're very easy to get to thanks to these little cutouts here. And there are three upper anchors. The two on the outer side, they're just in the back, but the top one is on the top, which is a little bit awkward to get to, but it's just a little different. For most use case, it's absolutely fine. And even if you're sitting in front of this rear-facing collect FUMF, as you can see, no problems, plenty of space. But let's head up to the front. All right, the front seats of the HR-V, pretty comfortable, I would say. They are heated, which is also really, really great for these Canadian winters, but they're manual. Like, I have to pump it to go up and down, and there's it's fully manual adjustable. I mean, at this price range, you would think you get automatic controls or powered controls. You just don't get that here. And you also don't get lumbar support. So what you get is what you get. There's no adjustability within the seat itself. I mean, For most people, it should be fine, but it's definitely something to consider. Most of the HRV competitor, well, you do get that as an option. In front of me, it's a really nice leather steering wheel. It's the same one as in the Civic. It works well. It has all the buttons you need, and you get the heated steering wheel button right on the center. Love that. Behind, a partial digital and analog cluster. I saw this in like the Honda Accord, like back in 2018 or so. Nothing wrong with the cluster. It works well enough for what you need. You get enough of that digital information on the left to get your like trip computer and whatnot. So I think that's fine. You don't get a heads-up display, but you do get a readout of your speed in the center in digital. So once again, I think it's fine. The infotainment, this is like completely lifted out of the Civic, and it's a better 9-inch unit with wireless CarPlay, and it just works. It's fundamentally really good. It does lag at times, but it varies so much that I'm not able to capture it on camera. But the overall system works well. You got a dedicated home button, volume control is all there. It's just a good system overall. Same thing with the climate control. Dual zone climate control, very, very easy to use, and it's just a fundamentally very simple interior. The only thing is, well, the build quality is pretty good up here, but I did find that when I push my knee towards the center console, the entire thing shifts. I mean, probably putting more pressure than it should, but still, this entire thing moves when I rest my knee on it. And also, they didn't have to do this. I get the old HRV had this kind of thing in the middle, so it's a little different, but if they put these controls on the side of the shifter, like they did on the Civic, they would have more space in the center. This is just clumsy to me. But, I mean, I guess it's a styling thing, which personally, as you can obviously tell, I just don't get. Anyways, let's talk about the powertrain before we head out on the road. Underneath the hood of the 2023 HRV, you get the 2-liter 4-cylinder straight out of the Civic. It makes 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. It is pulling quite a bit of weight, 3,335 pounds here with the EXL trim. And yeah, it's about 193 pounds over the old one. So, well, in terms of acceleration, it's definitely not the best. However, fuel economy is okay. City, you get 25 miles per gallon, that's 9.4 liters for 100 kilometers. On the highway, that's 30 miles per gallon, 7.8 liters for 100 kilometers. All right, on the road with the HRV. As a city, well, SUV that it is, it's absolutely fine. 0 to 60, I mean, depending on who you talk to, it still clocks in under 10 seconds. So getting onto the highway is possible, albeit slow, but still possible. I mean, the Crosstrek is about the same place, but the Crosstrek, you have the option of getting a bigger engine, that 2.5 Boxer 4, which I would highly recommend. And most of its competitors, you get more power as well. Like the Volkswagen Taos, well, you get the same horsepower figure, you get more torque in that thanks to the turbocharged engine. Same thing with like the CX-30. And the CX-30, you get a much more powerful turbo motor as well, if you want that option. In here, Honda, well, they didn't offer the 1.5. The 1.5 is an excellent choice in this. I'm sure it's going to cannibalize like the CRV sales. That's why they didn't want to put that engine in here. I get it, but at least give it as an option. I mean, who knows? In the future, it's possible, because as of right now, this is the EXL nav. It's not the top touring trim, which, well, Honda has been known to have. So it's possible in the future that they will place that 1.5 in here. You know, cross our fingers and hope for the best kind of thing. And with that engine, I think it's just going to be a better, just overall car. The only thing is, well, value. But before I get to value, which I'll go over in my final thoughts, I do want to talk about how it drives, because it's actually really, really good. As said, it's based on the Civic, and the Civic is a very well-mannered vehicle. It's, well, the steering, it's just very positive. It's just a very good experience to drive. It's connected. It's just something you don't feel generally in this type of vehicle. And I love it. And I really, really love how this rides and drives overall. You got a multi-link suspension in the rear compared to the torsion beam that it has before. It's just missing that powertrain to make this kind of perfect, because a vehicle of this size, it's sufficient for, you know, the 3 kind of family. You got yourself, your spouse, as well as your kid in the back. And with this configuration, I got plenty of space still in the cabin and still got plenty of space in the trunk for whatever that we need. So overall, this is perfect. It really is. But like I said, final thoughts, let's talk about that value, where it kind of falls short. As equipped here is 37,130 Canadian dollars, which for a subcompact SUV, it just is a little high, nearing that 40,000 Canadian dollar mark. As a comparison, the Volkswagen Taos, where it's similarly equipped, kind of like the Comfort line, that's a little bit less at 36,632. The Mazda CX-3 GT, 36,550. And that is basically the top trim minus that turbo motor. You can get that for 2,400. Yes, it does bump that price up to 38,950. But I mean, that turbo motor is just astonishing in that. However, if we don't look at the top trim, the base trim for the HRV, well, that's 28,730 Canadian dollars. That is two-wheel drive LX model. A base Honda Civic hatch is $30,130. So if you compare this to a base Honda Civic, it actually is better value, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, overall, it's a solid vehicle. It has everything that you need in one. The blind spot system works well. The adaptive cruise control works well. The lane keep and lane centering, everything just works really, really well in here. It's a solid vehicle. It just, I would like a little bit more power out of it or more efficiency. So if they slapped in a hybrid system, that would probably be a little bit better. Maybe in the future, who knows? But until then, this solid value, but I wouldn't go for the top trim. Step one down, get the Sport. You get, well, more out of that. More value anyways, obviously not more features. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.